Hej och välkomna till Wine Table. Ikväll har vi finbesök här i studion av det prestigefulla Bordeaux-slottet Chateau de Seguin. Vi ska snart börja den här provningen. Vi ska hålla på som ni vet ungefär en timme, så passa på att ställa så många frågor som ni bara kan. Så ska vi svara så mycket som vi hinner med under den här sändningen. Och som vanligt så har vi också en liten tävling på gång, och det är så enkelt att ni ställer frågor i vårt kommentarsfält eller kommenterar i största allmänhet, så kommer vi att dra en lycklig vinnare i slutet som har chans att vinna, håll i nu, det här tjusiga glaset. Det här är Riedels Veloce-serie Cabernet Merlot, ett perfekt glas faktiskt om man ska dricka de vinerna som vi har ikväll. Vi ska alldeles strax få träffa Nathalie Lagrue som är kvinnan bakom det här Chateau Seguin som vi ska prova ikväll, och Chateau Quinsac. Men jag tänkte att vi också skulle ge en liten snabb introduktion av producenten innan vi börjar. Mitt i hjärtat av Entrée de Mer ligger Chateau de Seguin. Det vackra slottet uppfördes 1780, men historien går tillbaka mycket längre än så. Hela 1000 år tidigare byggde greven av Seguin det första slottet på samma plats. Man har producerat vin här i närmare 1000 år, och slottet har alltid varit en levande plats tillägnad jordbruk, boskap och vin. Idag förfogar man även över Chateau Quinsac som ligger beläget mellan städerna Bordeaux och Saint-Emilion. Det är dags att träffa kvinnan bakom allt detta, Nathalie Lagrue. Welcome, Nathalie.
Thank you, Maja. It's always a pleasure to be in Stockholm.
Yes, it's so nice to have you here. We just gave the viewers a short introduction of Chateau de Seguin, but it's I think the property has such an interesting history. Would you mind
indeed.
just, explaining a little bit more about that?
Chateau de Seguin is a very, very old estate, dates back from the Middle Age. And the name at that period was already Seguin, and the signification was strong wine. And it was really the beginning of the history of the chateau, and so it's many decades, many centuries ago, and since that time we always produce wine.
But you also have a bit of a royal, provenance almost about this, with some really important, almost royal people back in history.
Yes, for the chateau.
Yeah.
Yes, with perhaps the Danish family. You want to?
No,
say?
I'm thinking about when it was built back in the days, with the guy that was connected to Charlemagne.
Yes, the Comte.
Yeah.
The Comte from Seguin, and indeed it's the history, what we found in the old papers, so we hope to still have a very elegant way to welcome people and to produce wine also, but because this is the most important.
And just one little thing about yourself, because you worked in this company for 32 years.
Oh yes.
That's a long time.
Yes, it's a long time. And
was it your first job?
Yes, it was my first job, and really we could say fall in love with the chateau at that time, and I'm still trying to promote the wine in the world, and it's always with great pleasure to talk about Chateau de Seguin and to share this tasting together.
It's such a beautiful place. I mean,
yes.
And you all saw the images before with the two towers, and
it's really it's close to the city, but it's a very nice landscape. We have 200 hectares of surface in total, but 100 hectares of vines. We have in the park one of the oldest trees, oak trees. The age is more than 200 years, so it's really a wonderful place.
So I think before we go on and taste the first wine, I think we should just mention something about Bordeaux as a wine region, and maybe specifically the area that you're in.
Yes, so Chateau de Seguin is situated in the big area called Entre deux Mers.
Between the rivers.
Between the rivers. The signification exactly is between the two seas, but as you said, there is no seas on that part. Two big rivers, the Garonne and the Dordogne, and we have this appellation Bordeaux Supérieur in this place in between from Saint-Emilion and the city of Bordeaux.
So it's basically in the middle if you draw
Yes,
as the
it's
crow
south
flies.
from Bordeaux, around 20 kilometers. It's very close. And then after you are going to on the south to Pessac-Léognan,
Yeah.
or a little bit on the east with Saint-Emilion and all the right bank. We are on the right bank.
The right bank in the middle of everything, you can say.
Yes,
Yeah.
in a village, a lost village.
I'm just going to pour you a little bit more about
Yes,
of this
with
wine.
pleasure. Thank you.
And I just want to say before we start tasting, we did a pre-tasting of the wines, and it strikes me every single time I taste these wines that the price is unbelievable. I mean, the price of this
Thank
one
you. Yeah.
is you shouldn't use the word cheap, obviously, but it's one of the most well-priced Bordeaux wines I think you can find on the shelves.
Yeah, we really try to, in the production and for the final consumer, to be stable and to really to try to produce a good value for a good price, and that's our main concern in Chateau de Seguin. And I think if we are still on the market, and especially with Sweden, because Sweden is a very old market for us, it's a very good relation we have with all the consumers, because we see how the Chateau de Seguin has been appreciated by people decades after decades, and it's very important for us to show that a Bordeaux can be affordable and can be really appreciated and bought to be drink at home.
Absolutely, and I think we should start tasting. And I think if you can just tell us about the wine, what we have in the glass, because
so
it's,
this is the Chateau de Seguin, the vintage 21, which is listed in Halco since in Système Bolaget since many years. We have this vintage blended with 70% of Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Cabernet Franc. This is the main grape of the estate. Not aged in barrel. It's a wine easy to drink, very fruity. You have a very powerful nose of red berries, and it's we could say the good companion for a lot of different dishes.
I think one of the things that you just mentioned is interesting to me, because you say this wine has not been aged in barrels.
No.
And for me at least, looking back to what Bordeaux used to be, there used to be a lot of barrels. It used to be a wine that you bought, and then you had to wait for the wine for a very, very long time. But I suppose when times change and when regions change, you also have to maybe change the way you make your wine.
This is what we did in the past with the Chateau de Seguin. With this first cuvée, we used to produce the wine in barrels, and we decided to perhaps to listen more the consumers and the market, and it was very important for us to be able to adapt also the production to the request of people. And today what we want, what everybody wants, it's to take pleasure, to have a good glass of wine and with a good price, and to be able to know also this appellation. And for us it was very important to decide to give a very fruity taste, and it's also a way to understand the appellation, because without any barrels you have really the right taste of the grapes, the fruit, and that was very important for us.
And as you said, this is Merlot based.
Merlot based, 70%, and Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, 20 Cabernet Sauvignon, 10 Cabernet Franc.
And Cabernet Franc to me is interesting as well,
yes,
because
and for us also,
at least to my knowledge, sometimes, I mean, with climate change, if we already jump on that train, I think the climate is maybe getting a bit too, I shouldn't say problematic maybe for Merlot sometimes, because it doesn't really like the heat. So maybe Cabernet Franc might be a great variety that we will see more of in the future.
The problem of the Merlot, as you just said, this is a very fruity taste, but very supple grapes. And as you said, we are suffering about so bad weather condition, whatever. It's too many rainfalls during the spring, for example, and this is really coming back every year now, and we have after very hot temperature, and the grapes are suffering a lot. That impact also the production, and we have to find solution. We are all together in the same boat, we could say.
Absolutely.
Yes, and we have really to take care and to find solution to avoid this problem. So we have many things on the way in Bordeaux, and especially new grapes. That's what we also began to do in Chateau de Seguin since a few years with the first the Malbec. So we take out the very old Merlot and we replace 6 years ago we planted around 5 hectares of Malbec. Now we have 10, and we planted last year Marcelin. Grapes coming from south of France, which is now agreed, certified by the organization of the appellation to belong to the Bordeaux blend.
We have 2 other grape varieties, at least I know, and that's the Portuguese grape Touriga Nacional.
Yeah, this is also rice in Bordeaux.
And Albarino.
Absolutely, for the white, and this is until today the solution we have found to try to plant grapes that could resist
the heat and drought.
with a very hot temperature. But until right now we have limitation. We cannot put the name of the grapes in the blend.
Okay.
We can use it in the vinification, but we are limited on 5 hectares of 5% of the total surface and 10% in the blend. So we are making tests, and after we will be able, I think, to say we are producing with Marcelin.
So there is a change, but it's a small change, and it might go slowly.
It's a beginning, yes, because Bordeaux is so wild, as everybody knows. There's so many people from south to north to Pauillac, and we cannot change all the things in a short time. And today, this is the Bordeaux and Bordeaux Supérieur appellation.
So going back to this wine, because this is now Bordeaux Supérieur, as you say.
Yes.
Which is a way of letting the consumer know that you have taken certain steps towards something.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain.
Yeah. Bordeaux Supérieur, the difference in Bordeaux appellation and Bordeaux Supérieur is the yield per hectare.
Yes.
So we have to decrease the yield per hectares in the Bordeaux Supérieur appellation in order to reduce the production with the aim to create very more powerful wine compared to the appellation Bordeaux. And of course the Saint-Emilion Grand Cru or the Pauillac, Pomerol, they also have lower yield per hectare.
So it's sort of a step up in a way.
Yes, and a way to show that in Bordeaux we are able to produce very good wine, even we are not Saint-Emilion or not Pauillac, for example.
I think this wine is extraordinary, especially when you compare it to the price. You have all of these components that you're looking for in Bordeaux, but it's still very light and fresh, and it's approachable. I would imagine it's easy to drink, and very nice food wine, I would expect. And maybe just also have a glass when you cook, in the chef, so to speak.
I do that at home.
We do that all the time.
Yes, because it's a refreshing wine, we could say, and this wine is opening your mouth also, because it's easy to drink and very, it's also, we want a wine easy to be understood by the consumer, because sometimes we want to drink a wine, but we don't want to think during a long time what is inside, what is the grapes or the aging or something like that. And this wine is really the perfect friend for barbecue, cooking, simple dinner with a friend or families, and this is the aim of Chateau de Seguin. First, to be really able to answer to everybody
and to be approachable, I suppose.
Yes, yes. I think it's a good price.
It's a very good price
on the shelves. Yeah,
and we have. I'm going to bring you another glass, but we have. You bought or brought for us a Magnum bottle.
Yes, very interesting.
Yeah, because this one is available in this lovely format, if I may say so.
Yeah.
And I like the Bordeaux bottles because they like gigantic. They look very luxurious. So we, as I said, we tasted the wines beforehand just to make sure everything was fine, and there is such a difference. Between these two. Yeah.
And it's the same vintage. You have to
21
to see that it's really the vintage 21, and it's something always explaining, but difficult to really understood. But the Magnum is the perfect size to keep the wine in your cellars, and it's the really the bottles where you have less air entering in the bottles, and so it's not in contact with the wine, which means that you have a great potential for aging in your cellars, and you don't have to hesitate because it's really a wine you can keep for many years. You can totally forget the wine, no problem. Then it will be okay.
No, I think because this shows really what you say with the oxygen and everything. It's the same level or same sort of amount of oxygen.
Yeah,
in
in fact, yes, this bottle is double size compared to the normal bottle, but this part of the top of the bottle is absolutely the same. We are using the same cork with the same diameter. So as you have more volume here, the place to enter the air is reduced. So that's why on the chemical size, the storage of the wine is better with a Magnum compared to a bottle. And the same with a half bottle. It's not the right half bottles you have to drink. It's just to drink.
I like that. We have some questions coming in. Karen says, how long has the wine been macerating? I suppose she means with the skins then.
Yes, so we, in general, for Chateau de Seguin, it's around 10 or 15 days. That's depend on the vintage, because you have some vintage depending on the quality on the vineyard, and for us it's very important to take care about the grapes in the vineyard, and depending on the quality of the juice, the quality of the grapes when we are doing the harvest, when we are picking up the harvest, we have to decide. But in general, for our wine, this is this time.
Round about that. Git says, can you mention like a dish with fish that could go with the wine?
Yes, absolutely.
If you're not a meat eater, you want to have fish.
And in Bordeaux, we are more often drinking red wine, easy red wine, like this wine, not aged in barrels, with fish. And you could take, for example, Cobb in the oven with a very nice sauce with onion and some herbs, and then you put some spices. And it's very good, and you put your potatoes in the oven. I promise you, I do that at home, and it's crazy. And you can drink red wine, absolutely. It's really open because you have this fruity taste coming up, and it's really easy to combine. Also with the salmon, cooked salmon, it's nice. I think I could recommend not a too strong fish. But this type of fish should be, I think.
You know, our friends in Norway, they are very keen on eating white fish like cod with red wine sauce. They usually drink Pinot Noir to that dish, but I mean, if you add on something like a red wine sauce to your fish, then you will have a nice, nice combination, I think.
For sure,
Why not? So Karen says, do you make any sparkling wine?
we used to do, yes, some years ago, because the sparkling, you have a very famous, very good sparkling in Bordeaux, but which is not so common in the world. This is what we call the Crémant de Bordeaux. And I insist on the name Crémant de Bordeaux. You know Crémant de Bourgogne, Burgundy, Alsace, Crémant de Loire. But who's know Crémant de Bordeaux?
No, but it is there.
It's not so common. And we are doing the Crémant with the Sémillon.
All right.
Yeah, we have mainly Sémillon Sauvignon in Bordeaux, especially Sémillon for the Pessac-Léognan. And the Sémillon is really well recommended for Crémant. And the Crémant de Bordeaux is a legal appellation with a very strict certification. We have to make harvest by hand. And this is aged like champagne. Yeah. We are not authorized with the name of champagne because it's not the same area, of course. But this is really, really good wine.
And I think I read somewhere quite recently that the Crémants from Bordeaux is growing.
Yes.
The interest is growing for the sparkling wines.
Yes, because you have the quality and you also have a good price. And that's very important today. And I think for the consumer.
And also for me, I mean, I don't think we have too many available in Sweden, but to have Semillon as well as the grape for the sparkling wine really makes it different to obviously champagne, but also Bourgogne, who's usually like
and this Semillon is a really strong grape that give a very powerful aromas, and that's why it's very interesting to use it in the sparkling, because that gives the power of the wine, and you can age the wine really. You can keep the wine for a long time.
So I think going back to these two, as I said, huge difference between the two wines.
Yeah, and in the nose, seems the nose a little bit more on evolution with the Magnum, but you still have some.
But it's a perfume.
That
is different.
Compared to the first one and the bottle, which is more on red fruit, and this one, the Magnum, should be more on plums, you know, and more on a little bit of spices, but really we have to look for way. But
Magnum is, as you say, it's ideal when you want to store your wine and age your wine in a bottle, because it takes a bit longer, but it's also a sort of smoother way of aging your wine.
Yes, and so it's only 2 bottles, so on the table it's so lovely.
Two bottles is nothing.
Yeah, when you have different people, it's a good, but it's a good combination because you have really, you are pretty sure to have a good wine. Yeah.
So lots of questions coming in. So Krista says, do you harvest your grapes by hand?
So we have 1 cuvée harvested by hand, but we have 100 hectares of vines, which is a huge volume, and we are making the harvest with a machine. But this is the last generation in the harvesting machine, with very good way to not to scratch the grapes on the vines, but moving the vines, and then the grapes is falling down
just carefully.
Yes, and but we have no choice on 100 hectares. Today we have to make the harvest in 1 month maximum, because we have to fight with the weather.
It's
also
too labor intensive if you're doing everything by hand.
Doing by hand, it's nearly impossible on 100.
I also think, because there's a lot of misconceptions about machine harvest. They think
people think it's not bad.
Exactly, it's not quality, and it is actually. There's been many studies when it comes to machine versus hand harvest, and the machines, as you rightly say, nowadays they are so.
That's really
good.
Yeah, and it's big investment when you want to have a really super quality in the technology, and you have machine which are really taking care about the grapes. And we have invested in Chateau de Seguin, which is a Bordeaux superior wine with a sorting table like the Grand Cru Classé in Bordeaux, which is a really big investment. And I promise you that we have wonderful grapes coming from the machine on this sorting table, and that's really a big investment on the basis, but after we are able to we could say that, to produce a good wine with a good condition. Otherwise, 100 hectares by hand, we will need 2 months, and we have the nature. The nature doesn't give us the time today. It's really difficult.
Sam is asking, is there an opportunity for the public to visit Chateau de Seguin if
you're
in the area?
You are welcome, no problem. It's Chateau de Seguin is a really big estate, and we have changed. We have made a lot of things for tourism, so the chateau can be can welcome people.
And you have a bed and breakfast, right?
Bed and breakfast with rooms, and we can rent the chateau for big party.
There you go.
Yes.
You can rent the chateau.
You're welcome. We can welcome in the chateau 15 persons. We have an independent house also for 4 persons, and then we have all the bed and breakfast, swimming pool, terrace, barbecue, a big park, and everything at your disposal. And we have a museum.
Oh wow!
Yes.
No, I think why he's asking is I think a lot of people think that Bordeaux is very closed, that it's difficult for a wine tourist to come and visit the properties. I think there's also like a misconception that you think you will go to Bordeaux and everyone will go in black ties and have
can
closed
come
doors.
with a short and a t-shirt. It's not a problem in Chateau de Seguin. No. Indeed, it's better to try to book in advance because we have a lot of demands now. But we are in a very easy place, landscape. You know, it's not you are not attending a Grand Cru classé, so it's really an easy way. And of course, it's a village. It's 20 kilometers from Bordeaux, so it's better to have a car or to rent a car. But we are really open to welcome people, and we want people come to see what is our work.
I talked to another Bordeaux producer quite recently, and we discussed this with tourism, and he said, you know, there's been so much things done to make tourists understand that Bordeaux is a really nice tourist destination.
Yes, yeah.
And the city of Bordeaux, with the museum that they have, the new
the city
being
exactly
being part of the wine capitals of the world. So I think if you have the time and you want to go to France, you should definitely go and pay some attention to.
Yes, because
Bordeaux.
you have so many small estates also open to welcome people, and this is also a good opportunity for the consumer to taste and to discover new things. And it's I think a lovely city and a lovely region.
You're welcome, Sam.
Yes.
Anytime you want. Lotta says, just before we go on, lots of questions. Why do you think that this wine has been so popular here in Sweden? It's usually sold out at Systembolaget, she says.
So I will make something to have a lot of stock for you. No problem. Who is writing? It's
her name is Lotta.
Lotta, we will manage. Don't worry. I think this is the work with the Swedish team that we Chateau de Seguin now is a brand in Sweden, and I really think that the price level and the quality, finally the quality, because you can buy the bottle, and if you don't like, you're welcome not to come back. But it's not the case, because I think the wine is really first representative from the housey Bordeaux supérieur and this is the first step to learn Bordeaux also. So I think it's a good balance. After many visits in Stockholm and seeing the stores from Systembolaget, I think it's really a good choice you have in the store. That's why. And perhaps also the label, this is classical, people perhaps understand this is elegant wine, very I think in link with the Bordeaux mind, you know, what people are waiting for Bordeaux. And
I think it's a long-standing relationship, as you say. It's been on the shelves for quite some time, and I mean the quality in the bottle is really, I think, telling the truth here.
This is what we want to do, and we try to do for years after years, vintage after vintage.
I think Lotta, Nathalie's just promised you that there will be no shortage of supply from now on.
No.
So this wine then, the Prestige.
The Prestige,
so
like the name.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see the label as with the golden color as well. So this is now like a step up. So what's the difference between the regular one and the Prestige?
So the Prestige is aged 12 months in oak barrels, 50% new. We are doing a special selection of the best grape of Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon for each vintage. As we are doing this carefully, this work after each harvest, every year, every vintage, you could have some difference in the percentage of the grapes. But roughly, we are putting around 70%, perhaps 80% of Merlot, depending on the production, because we think also the Merlot is very supple, so that's well balanced the taste of the wood. And we have the, in general, Cabernet Sauvignon. We hope to be able to have some Malbec for the vintage 24, which is too early because we are just finishing the harvest today.
Interesting.
But we think we could have some Malbec in the blend.
I mean, we can clearly see difference.
The difference, yes.
Because of the oak treatment as well. But it's a serious wine.
It's elegant also. It's of course more complex in the nose and also in the mouth. In the mouth, you have more toasted notes, coffee aromas. It's also important to note that it's vintage 2018 compared to 21 we had with the Magnum and the bottles. So it's a wine. It's a matured wine. Perhaps a wine we can appreciate on more elegant or more fine meat. Cheese also. A very good Roquefort.
I'm a cheese lover.
Or some, welcome. A good glass of wine and some cheese, that's perfect. Perfect. And some Comté, Parmesan, this very strong.
Absolutely.
Yes, cheese could be well combined. And also you can finish your dish with that, with a good chocolate cake.
There's a completely different structure in this wine compared to the other ones. So you can feel it's more like, how do you say, like it's also like architectural in a way. So you can feel it's got a foundation that is
that's
different.
Also for the oak barrels. But that's very traditional for Bordeaux, but it's also something so interesting in the blend and how we could appreciate the wine many years after the harvest.
We just got a question from Johan that we won't answer just now. We're going to wait with that. But he says, how's the potential of having the wines in the cellar? And we have a surprise at the end, Johan, that we will talk about. He also says, I never thought about putting these wines in the cellar. Maybe I should try. And I can say, yes, you should.
Yes, and we will see why.
That's going to be the cliffhanger for now on.
The wine in the wood, Cuvée Prestige, this is already a wine which is 6 years old. And you can see that you have the liveliness and you have the acidity, some acidity. And you can, without any doubt, keep the wine 10 years without any doubt in the cellars. Absolutely.
Bit of maturation on the nose. You can feel it's not a 21.
No,
but it's far away from
and each vintage
done.
Are so different. Also in the way we are doing the harvest and the weather. 18 we had a very good weather, very hot summer. So that gave a lot of alcohol and sugar in the wine. So you have the result now, few years after. So all the wine can be stored without any problem from a Chateau de Seguin, but the Cuvée Prestige is the perfect wine you can save with your children in some years. Yeah.
I think we got another question, and I think from Solveig, and I think this is an interesting one. We actually touched on that, just the two of us, before the tasting. Are the wines organic?
That's a good question, indeed.
It is actually a very good question. Solveig.
Yes. So if you can show the back label of all the wines, we have the first certification of HVE, which means very high environmental value, level 3, which is the maximum level for this certification. It was the first step for us, which means we are working on sustainability. We are taking care about everything, whatever it's consumption electricity, protecting the animals, which means we have built a lot of, created a lot of nests for the bat to hit the insect during the night to protect the vineyard, for example.
Natural process.
Yes. And we decided a few years ago, or 2 years ago exactly, to try to be organic. So we launched the organic conversion. And we do a lot of efforts, but not so different as we used to do with the HVE. And then we had
a few things that you had to still, tweak a bit if you were going into conversion.
Yes. Yeah. And the problem is that with this organic conversion, the danger was to lose the production. And we are Bordeaux Supérieur. We have consumers, customers who are following us, and it was difficult to answer to this question. Are we able to lose a production? And we are sorry, but the answer was no, because we have also to think about the economic side, and that was the decision. We are working like organic, but it's not written on the label because we are not certified.
Not certified.
Because that's the choice we had to do, because also it's easy. I should say it's more easy to be organic with 40 hectares or 30 hectares compared to 100 hectares. The work is totally different.
No, and I think it's interesting what you're saying. I mean, for once, the fact that you have already, you're working with sustainability, you have another type of certification that basically is like more holistic maybe, and the pure organic one. And I can see, talking to other producers around the world, that going the strict organic route is not for everyone. It's not for all the different regions. And you can also see at Systembolaget, they used to be very focused on organic. Now they have your best sustainable choice and other stuff. So it's interesting to hear that you made an effort and you realized not
economically it was
not worth it from a economically sustainable view.
Absolutely. And this is really the truth. We are really working like organic estate.
Absolutely, because you have.
But as we decided not to have the certification, because we want to have the choice to save our production
when necessary.
And on 100 hectares with 50 employees, that's very important.
Totally get it.
And I think Lotta will find wine in the stores.
Exactly. Otherwise, Lotta, you would be
out of stock,
having really big problems. So Frederick says, what type of glass are you drinking of? It looks really big. And this is the one, Frederick, that I talked about in the beginning of the broadcast. This is the Veloce series. It's a Riedel series.
Yes.
And this is a Cabernet Merlot glass. So it's basically made for Bordeaux wines. So we thought to have smaller glasses in the beginning, and now when we get to the prestige
to have more
and to the next wine, to have a bigger glass and really to.
And the aromas are, this is like explosion of aromas, and then the size of the glass for that is very important.
It is. Yeah. So a beautiful wine in a big glass, that's how we want to drink them.
Great potential. And you see on the glass how deep it is.
Yeah.
With the texture of the wine. This is what we call the tears.
Exactly, the tears. I think it's a lovely wine, and I think if you compare the two, which one shouldn't do, but I think this one, if you want to buy someone a present and show them a nice, slightly matured or developed Bordeaux, and with still some aging potential, There you go.
Yeah, for sure. The Chateau de Seguin is the perfect gift for, I think, a good price, and you have no doubt about the quality. And if people are forgetting the bottle, also no doubt it's no problem.
You can forget it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
No, so I think so. It's a little bit of a price difference, but nice to see a 2018 as well.
That's we are very proud. We could say that about also the evolution of the wine in the bottles years after years, and it's always interesting to taste the wine in the country of our customer, because very often it's different. The wine is traveling, the storage are different, and when the wine is crossing the ocean, you still have another taste compared to what we have in Chateau de Seguin.
Absolutely.
And that's very interesting in the wine also.
So we have a fourth wine, and now we're going to move to another label.
The other estate.
Another called Chateau Quinsac.
Chateau Quinsac.
And we got a question earlier as well in regards to the terroir. This was Glenn asking what kind of soil type do you have in your area? And now we have, before we answer that, Glenn, because this is now different. So can you tell the difference between Quinsac and
so Quinsac is the other estate. We have two estates. Each one have 100 hectares of vines. They are close together.
How far between?
It's 15 kilometers maximum.
So
close. It's 10 minutes by car. It's really close. The main difference, this is the same soil, but the main difference in Chateau Quinsac, we have 40% of the estate planted with Malbec.
Yeah.
And everybody perhaps knows that the Malbec, the origin of the Malbec is Bordeaux.
Absolutely. It's an
not
old
Argentina. And so we have Malbec in Quinsac, and the result was so nice in the tasting, in the blend, that's why we decided to plant Malbec in Chateau de Seguin. We could say that's brother. The wine are different because each estate has his own philosophy, his own team producing the wine. So we never mixed anything. Each chateau stay with his own personality. Yeah, this is exactly the word. And we have also different type of barrels, because the type of barrels is very important in the blend. And the main difference, this is the 40%, roughly, depending on the vintage, of the Malbec in the wine, and that give you a wonderful spicy notes. This is vintage 18.
Yep.
And if you compare with the Cuvée Prestige, which was also 18, it's really the Prestige is aged in oak barrels, but not Quinsac.
So this is the same treatment as the Chateau de Seguin?
Yes, and they have also the same certification, HVE, and we are harvesting with a machine like like in Chateau de Seguin, and this is absolutely the same type of production, but with its own terroir, on way to do, which is totally different from in the bottle.
But is it the same soil types?
The soil, yes, because they are in the same area, Bordeaux Supérieur, Entre-deux-Mers. This is a soil mainly with clay, and it's nearly the same as Saint-Emilion. So you have roughly the same.
Because that's close as well.
Yes, it's absolutely the same origin also of the soil. We have stone, a little bit of stone, but it's main of the estate are with clay. It's a clayly soil. Different from Pessac-Léognan with they have stone and the Pauillac or the Médoc area.
So you say that the different chateaus has their own philosophies. So what is then the difference if we take this up, because that's with barrels now? If you compare these two, what is the difference in philosophy between the Chateau de Seguin and Quinsac?
It will be first how you are running the vineyard, because you could use the best technology in the wine, the best machine, the best barrels. The most important, you have to remember that a wine is made in the vineyard first, when this is only a fruit on the vines, and on that way the technical team. This is two different technical teams, and the technical directors are different, and you have your own personality as human being, choosing when you will begin the harvest of the Merlot, or when, and that's really different. And in a few hours or one day difference, you can change the taste of this grape, and on that way it's different. You have also the how the vineyard is planted. Is it more south, more north? That's different also because it's not on the same place. So all these things impacts the way to the taste of the wine.
But this is also much younger, because you bought the Chateau quite recently, and then the first vintage was
for Chateau Quinsac. It was that has been bought in 2009. So our own production was at that time vintage 9-10. Yes. And in Sweden, it's in Sweden since vintage 2014.
Okay. No, but I mean, you can, when you smell the wine, you can definitely feel that the Malbec is making a difference.
This spicy pepper,
it's quite
a little bit of pepper.
It's got a grip which is different, because that one is much more red fruits. More, I shouldn't say jumping out of the glass, but that type of, it's like a very happy-go-lucky type of person. This is a bit more
with a structure, and you have but the tannins are still it's like a velvet tannin, very elegant also. That's without any doubt a wine you could combine with really strong meat or game, or perhaps more sophisticated dish.
So maybe this might be a very stupid question.
No,
it's like
stupid question.
Yes,
perhaps
this might be
answers,
actually,
but no stupid question.
Like choosing your favorite child. But is there? I mean, you've been working with this company for so long, and I mean, meeting you can really feel that you put all your heart and soul into the company. It's not a job for you. It's more like a lifestyle.
No, it's my life.
So if which one would you say? Do you have a favorite?
I like the Cuvée Prestige because I think it's well balanced. It's really the wine you can appreciate on everything, but without any doubt, the wine I am drinking very often, this is Chateau de Seguin. And I am cooking with Chateau de Seguin, so after the bottle could be empty, but no, I think the right choice for me, it's Chateau de Seguin, because this is also our baby. This is the first cuvée we launched
Your first
in 1985. So yeah, could be like the first child.
Okay. We don't have to talk about the first child anymore, but there you go. That was the answer. Magnus says, lovely red wines. Do you make still white wines as well? Yes, you do.
We have a Sauvignon, 100% Sauvignon, very crispy wine, very fresh, also easy to drink, no oak, a wonderful taste of the Sauvignon from Bordeaux, which is different from the Sauvignon from South Africa or New Zealand, for example. This is our really, we have our own Sauvignon, we could say, with a I think a very easy taste with a lot of citrus, and you have a combination with pineapple. It's really interesting, and I think it's a good wine also for aperitif.
Sivi say Quinsac seems to be quite full-bodied wine. Will it go well to game?
Yes, this is just what we discussed a few minutes ago. You can combine with game without any problems, and also if I could recommend all of you to don't hesitate to decant the wine a little bit in advance, and please decrease the temperature of the wine, because it's not good for a wine to be served too hot.
Absolutely.
Yes, and this is what you made a few minutes ago, because the temperature was really very good. And if the wine is too hot, you will have the alcohol coming up, and then all the fruits, all the aromas we have today now in the glass are dead, totally dead. And please don't hesitate to put it a little bit in the fridge, and you take it out a few hours before, 2 hours before. You decant the Cuvée Prestige, even the Magnum, because it could be very interesting to open the aromas, and I think it really interesting. Even we are not Grand Cru, but decanting a wine could be a good thing, depending on the vintage.
Do you make sweet wines?
No,
not even for own consumption.
No, because sweet wine, it's we could recognize that the producer of Sauternes, all this wine are really, they have a lot of courage today. So sweet wine, you need only semillon. You need this perfect terroir. We talked about terroir a few minutes ago.
And climate conditions.
Yes, south of Pessac with the Sauternes area. And it's not, we could produce dry white wine, but sweet impossible in our place. It could be a bad result. So
we're not going there.
Everybody has to do his work, and we are very okay on the red and the dry white, but not sweet.
All right, so we are heading into the last
one.
The last wine.
This is a great surprise.
Yeah, this is now for Johan. And I'm going to tell you now, Johan, before I pour the wine, that Nathalie said, you don't understand how lucky you are that we are tasting this wine.
Absolutely.
Today. Because, and I shouldn't say, it's a 2010.
Yes.
Chateau de Seguin. And you said to me that you basically never taste back vintages. No,
because at the chateau we try to keep some, every vintage we have a private cellars. We keep some cases to taste regularly, to see if the wine is on evolution, how the wine are doing. But in fact, since some years we do not take the time to do that. And then we thought that it was a good opportunity today to share this experience with all of you. And we tasted at the chateau just before we left, and it was a so great experience. Crazy, because we are in Chateau de Seguin every day. We are producing the wine. We were so surprised about the result. And you tasted
I did actually.
And I remind that this is a simple Bordeaux Supérieur. The wine is not aged in barrels, and the stage of the wine, it's 14 years after the harvest. And we had some question about how long to keep the wine in the cellars, and that's the perfect answers.
It is,
and
actually.
We can show on the light that of course the color is a little bit brown compared to the other one, but it's totally normal. But you have the acidity, and you still have a powerful aromas, and the fruit change. Of course, it's more plums, more.
And I mean, I must admit,
laser also.
Sometimes it feels like 2010 was yesterday, so you never think about the fact that it's actually 14 years old. But I had to admit, when we opened the wine and I was about to taste it, because I myself are not too fond of really old wines. You know, I think I rather drink young wines. And I smelled this, and I had a taste, and I was really surprised how well this wine has kept, because it's, as you said, it's no oak, it's nothing, it's just pure grapes.
Fruit. Yeah.
And you can feel it's matured, obviously, but it's not over the top. It's not. It could probably still go a few years.
I think so.
Yeah.
Of course, you
depending
need to
on what you like.
Yeah. And we need to taste regularly, and this is like keeping bottles in your cellars. Sometimes you don't have to hesitate to take a bottle, just open it, because what is the wine? It's only taking pleasure, and everybody perhaps have different taste. In some can have the perhaps good feeling with this old vintage, and people perhaps not, because they could prefer young vintage. So this is very important to taste regularly, but really the aging of Chateau de Seguin without any oak, with the white label, it's crazy, because that's the perfect example. And we were also very surprised.
119 Swedish kronor for this wine, and you can keep it for 14 years.
And perhaps more.
Yeah, well done. Just one thing before we move on to the last few minutes, because when we looked at the wines beforehand, for some reason I really read the fine the fine text on your labels, and you say, we talked about your production and how big it was, and in the 2021 Chateau de Seguin, it says on the label it's a 270,000 bottles. You know, fair enough. But then suddenly I had a look at the 2010.
Absolutely.
And there it says 600,000.
Yes.
Which means that you have half the production now than you.
Yeah, and that's
how come?
Absolutely. And these numbers are always true. This is the reality of the production. And what is the result of that? This is just the climate, a climate which is changing. And as we have not regular weather with sometimes rainfalls when we do not have to have, we have very hot temperature that decrease the potential of the volume. So of course it's increasing the level of sugar in the wine. That give, on which is not so good sometimes, very high alcohol degrees. 15 years ago, when you used to do harvest, in general you were around 11.5 degrees. Today you could be 14, 15, and that's too high. So and the result also, this is this loss in production, and that's why also the choice for the organic production has been made.
Was not an option.
And that's a totally crazy, but this is only the result of the climate.
That's so interesting, and a bit scary as well.
Yes, also because we have all to be together to find a solution, and as I said, we are on the same boat, and we have to. Everybody talk about that. Every day now, but when you are working in the agriculture, whatever the country you are, I think you perhaps have you could have the same problems in Sweden. I don't know, but we have no choice. We have to find a solution, and that's come first with the new grapes.
You're doing your part, and we're trying to do ours.
Yes.
We're gonna get now lots of.
And the winner is.
So this is now Nathalie's gonna try and sorry. You can choose.
Of course.
Choose now, and
I
then
can put my hand inside.
Put your hand inside, and then read out the name loudly. If it's an issue reading the name, you can give it to me. If it's a strange Swedish name,
I will
some
try.
reason, you're gonna try. Okay, so this is now the winner of.
I apologize for the person. So the winner is a woman, Rebecca Zetterlund. Can you confirm?
Zetterlund, Rebecca Zetterlund. Very nice.
No, that was not yet.
I think it was absolutely fine.
So congratulations, Rebecca.
Rebecca, thank you for sending in your questions, your comments, and congratulations on winning a couple of these gorgeous Cabernet Merlot glasses. So please just get in touch with your address so we can send these to you, and you have something to enjoy your beautiful Bordeaux wines in.
For sure.
Nathalie, this has been absolutely amazing.
It was a pleasure for me. It's always a pleasure to be in Stockholm. You have a wonderful city, and with a lovely weather. It was sunny day, and so skål, all the pleasure, and I wish everybody all the best with a good glass of wine.
sounds good to me. Please just make sure that you look into our YouTube channel and please subscribe to our newsletters if you want, so you can get updated on things like this. It's been very nice to have you all in front of your screens tonight, and I'll see you next time. And to you, I'm gonna do the old one. To you, thank you, Nathalie, for coming.
It's a pleasure. Santé, we say in French. Skål, and welcome to Chateau de Seguin for next time.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci.
Merci. Bye bye.